All right, all right, all right. Welcome, welcome. We're live now. I can see we are 5 people in the room. I welcome you to our evening lecture. I would like to welcome our senior lecturer, Mr. Celicius. Take us through the lecture for today. You are welcome, sir.
Yes, very good. Thank you very much. There are 5 people now in the room. Of course, 1, 2, 3 more might be in a position to come to join us in the program of our lecture this evening. Yesterday, we had a wonderful time. We were in a position to understand some of the things that we had already taught, but it could be helpful for people to understand by repeating. So it is like yesterday, I had to show that when we were beginning, I needed to talk about the fundamental analysis, because we have said, if you are a trader in any business whatsoever, you should be very conversant with what is going on. You should have the understanding of some kind of analysis of the environment of your business. If you are a business person, you really need to understand the analysis of the area of your business. For example, if you are traveling between countries, you want to always ask whether the route is okay, there is no problem, and so on and so forth. Those ones you would want to understand. You will want to know if your country is at peace with the other country. If you hear that there is a problem around the border, definitely you would feel concerned because it has an effect on your business. Now, when it comes to cryptocurrency and in the financial market, yes, the financial market has 2 ways of analysis, very important indeed. Like we have talked about the fundamental analysis, and when we were talking of fundamental analysis, we really emphasize that in this case, you are interested in news. You want to see what news are available that may have some effect on the business you are doing. There could even be some events, not necessarily news, but events. Events are real things happening. For example, if there is football, World Cup, for example, you know that if there is World Cup, people flock around television. And if you have a hotel or a space in your restaurant where people can come and sit to watch football, they watch football, but you serve food for them. You serve drinks for them. You serve meals for them. You serve refreshment for them. You will find that such events can boost your business. So in a similar way, when you are handling fundamental analysis, you may not just look for news, but even events. But sometimes also there are things like disaster that can strike. Disaster can strike. Like for example, diseases. We have had Ebola. We have had hepatitis. We have had COVID-19. We have had this. We have had bird flu. We have had this, and all those disasters, even earthquakes, all those disasters, they constitute a lot of problem in the market. And so they can have effect on the business performance. Some news can be very wonderful and very positive, yes. It will mean that the business is going to run very, very well indeed. Some news are bad. Also the events, some events are very good, some events are bad. Disasters are generally bad. Although somehow without even knowing, a certain disaster can improve other people's business. For example, the disaster that we knew of COVID-19. COVID-19, when it came, COVID-19, those who are manufacturing liquid soap, those who are manufacturing ordinary soap, those who are manufacturing face masks, those who are manufacturing things like the goggles, the glasses, and so on, to screen the face of the doctors, the health workers, and so on. They really ate money. Those who are manufacturing gloves, they really ate big money. It is surprising that for some small groups, even certain disasters may promote business instead. The same with even earthquake, if it is to occur, you will find that Red Cross may decide to recruit more volunteers. And in recruiting more volunteers to go and lift stones, buildings, walls, roofs, and so on, that have collapsed on people, well, it can create some opportunity for money to some selected few. So anyway, the thing we are talking about is that fundamental analysis is something we can't avoid. In fact, we need to include it as part of our business forever. Then we would be okay. Then also we talked of technical analysis. Technical analysis, instead, you are dealing with recent statistics. You are dealing with recent data. You are dealing with recent graphs and so on. Recent graphs, and perhaps you are dealing with recent prices, because you are hoping that the recent prices of last week, the recent prices of last month, the recent prices of last year, and so on, can help you to understand what may take place this year. The recent prices of last year may help you to understand what is going on this year. So technical analysis has a lot more to do with data. It helps you to see recent data. It helps you to see recent things so that you are in a position to understand that we are moving, we have been moving like this, we are likely to move like this. So technical analysis is actually helping you with statistics, with the data, with the graphs, with the prices, and all these are for recent periods. You are dealing with recent periods, and the recent periods you are thinking will help you to understand the period now and the period to come. So many times there are traders also who have mastered a lot about technical analysis. Where do we get technical analysis? You simply open the currencies and you look at the graphs, the charts, you look at the statistics, the prices, and so on. Those ones are like you are analyzing the coins, but you are using technical analysis. Yesterday, we said that if you are to talk about fundamental analysis, there are many places where you can go to look for news. But just for the sake of being simple, we thought that if the free software, the app like TradingView, you are able to install and you have it in your phone, it will help you a lot. It is not the only place for fundamental analysis for news, but it helps a lot. And yesterday, we have said that even when you are looking for things, news about cryptocurrencies, you can just dwell on Bitcoin And you can even get very good information. Why? We have said, as a matter of joke, that Bitcoin is like the mother of the cryptocurrencies. And so if in the house of the mother of cryptocurrency there is food, you can expect that it is good news. If in the house of the mother of cryptocurrency there is disaster and fire, then you can expect that there is likely to be no food in the entire crypto market. Today, let us see if we can add some more on our fundamental analysis by looking at the trading view to see certain news items. I like it that you should get to understand some of the languages they use, some of the terms they use, some of the languages used when you are handling cryptocurrency trading. Some of the languages are very good. Like you are now getting familiar with some of the languages that I have brought to your attention. For example, at one point, we talked of the language called FOMO, the abbreviation called FOMO, where we say this is fear of missing out. Fear of missing out occurs when there is some very good news and people are rushing to buy a certain cryptocurrency. Then when people are rushing to buy that cryptocurrency because of some very good news, anyone who had saved a bit of money will want to come and use that money to buy the cryptocurrency because of the good news. They know the price is soon going up. And indeed, the price will go up because anybody who was, some people even who were keeping school fees for 4 children, they go to the bank and they remove the entire school fees for the 4 children to run for cryptocurrency to buy very, very fast. Why? Because they feel that the good news is going to move the price high, and they are fearing they will miss that currency now. If they delay, then what happens? The cryptocurrency begins to move very fast upwards. That one is a language I have already acquainted you with. That is fear of missing out. So the purpose of teaching fundamental analysis is so that you also get acquainted with some of the terminologies, some of the terms they like using in this market. Another term that we also discussed because of our interest in fundamental analysis is the FUD, F-U-D, FUD. FUD means fear, uncertainty, doubt. Fear, uncertainty, doubt. Fear, uncertainty, doubt is like the opposite of FOMO. It means that there is some very bad news. Sometimes the news is even intended by enemies. So it could be that the news is even malicious. Malicious means that it is created intentionally as bad news. The news can be malicious. A news which is malicious is intended just to be bad news for the purpose of creating problem. And indeed, it can create fear, it can create uncertainty, it can create doubt, and you find that everybody wants to sell away the cryptocurrency because they fear having cryptocurrency. They fear that the market is going to crash. So everybody will begin to fear. Everybody develops uncertainty because of malicious news. And If there happens to be fear, uncertainty, and doubt, you find that the market price of cryptocurrency begins to go down, because anyone who has the cryptocurrency begins to fear that today, my cryptocurrency, let us say, is $800. Then they don't want to wake up tomorrow to find that the cryptocurrency is only $360 because of the extreme drop in price. So many people who fear the malicious news will run to begin selling away their cryptocurrency even cheaply, and then the prices fall. At least you are getting familiar with such news, with such expression like the feud. Today, let us continue with fundamental analysis. With what purpose? With the purpose that you should get more in your vocabulary so that you will be able to read and you understand. Yesterday we said, and in recent days we said that you can focus your attention on the watch list where you pick on a specific currency you want. If you don't come to the watch list to pick on specific currency you want, we have said also that you may simply go to the house of the mother. That is one way. But then also in the recent days, I have told you that you can also choose just in general to go to the section of news. And then when you go to the section of news here, which is like page number 4, then you will say that you are interested in news, but news of cryptocurrency only, not all the news about crude oil, about stock in New York, about banks around the world. You will be interested in news, but news of cryptocurrency only. So let us try this method, and we go to which place? To news. Then when we go to news, we say that we are not just reading all that is available as news. Our target instead is to read news only about crypto. That is our interest. We are not interested in all sorts of news. We are interested in news about crypto. So we click crypto. Then the news comes. Here we are. Some of them came just this evening. Some of them came yesterday. Some of them, like this one here, came just a few minutes ago at 5:33 according to my Uganda time. And you can see that at the moment, it is just 5:37 in Uganda. So this one is news that came even when I was already teaching, just some 4 minutes ago. News of very recent type. I have not even read that news. Of course, there is some news here, okay? Let me see. You remember Fed, when they talk about Fed, and when they talk about this chairman of Fed, Jerome Powell, you know that when he talks, there is going to be either fear, uncertainty, doubt, or fear of missing out. The moment he talks, the market is going to vibrate either for some very good benefit or sometimes bad news, and it causes uncertainty. The last time he talked, Bitcoin went to 24,000. The last time this Jerome Powell talked, Jerome Powell of Fed, can you imagine that? That was a recent thing. So here now, 2 minutes after 5 o'clock, which of course in your country, if you check in, you will find that It is 2 minutes after 4 o'clock. They present according to the time zone of your location. They present according to the time zone of your location. So since you have ever heard of U.S. Federal Reserve or U.S. Fed, and you are aware that the chairman is called Jerome Powell, since there is news here, let us try to see if this news we can understand. I have not even read this news because, as you can see, the news came when we had already started our lecture this evening. But they say that the chair is going to give a speech today. Wow! Either terrible or good news. This chair is going to give a speech today. Wow, I hope it is good news, a speech today. And then they say, what are we to expect? Interestingly, I hope they are aware. They are saying, buying opportunity for Bitcoin will come. So most likely they are trying to tell us that Bitcoin price is going to fall. Of course, at the moment in America, it is still morning hours. It is still morning hours. So if he is going to speak today there during their daytime, then most likely the cryptocurrency is going to fall. And then opportunity for buying will come. If the opportunity for buying is going to come, maybe they are telling us that the price of cryptocurrency is likely to fall because Jerome Powell, the chairman of US Fed, is going to give a speech. And when he gives a speech, the whole world suffers or enjoys. So let us just open briefly and we see, is there anything that we can read and we can be able to follow? Perhaps. They say Powell, that is that gentleman, the chairman, speech today, Powell's speech today, that traders are waiting, okay? Traders are waiting for US Fed Chair Jerome Powell's comments later in the day as the stock futures and crypto prices remain on a standstill. Remaining on a standstill means that the person is just standing there and not moving anywhere. A person is just standing there and not deciding to move anywhere. So they are saying that the crypto prices are on a standstill. Why is it that the cryptocurrencies are remaining on a standstill? It is because people are waiting. People are waiting. They know that later in the day, Jerome Powell will give a talk. He will give a speech. And because he is going to give a speech, they are waiting for the speech so that they hear whether there is anything in the speech that should create fear and uncertainty and doubt, or whether the speech is going to attract buyers and you should buy very fast so that you don't miss out because there is going to be an upward rally. But at the moment, the prices are not moving. The prices of cryptocurrency not moving. Then we continue. The Fed chair will be speaking at an event at the Economic Club of Washington, D.C., where Powell is expected to clarify his comments on inflation. In his press conference after the FOMC meeting. The meeting they hold where he is going to be the chairman, the meeting is called FOMC meeting. That is the meeting when he goes and he shares that meeting. So he is going to give his comments about inflation. Following that speech, if he gives the speech and he finishes, the market rally. So following this, the markets rallied. The markets rallied thanks to Powell's statement on disinflation. The robust jobs data report, you remember that there was jobs data report, however, could change the Fed's attitude, okay? So they're saying that there was a recent conference and there was a recent speech he made. When he made a speech recently, markets rallied. As I said, that markets went, cryptocurrency went to 24, Bitcoin went to 24. Recently, he gave a speech. When he gave a speech recently, markets rallied. Bitcoin hit 24. But even when Bitcoin reached 24, we had already seen, like we saw yesterday, that jobs data report shows that jobs were created a little bit more than expected. So they say, however, although there was good market rally, when they say, however, it means the opposite problem came. What was the opposite problem? Job data report. And why are they worried? They are worried that this job data report could change the Fed's attitude toward the rate hike policy, tightening in the months ahead. So in the months ahead, there might be tightening. So they are now waiting for the speech, and they are saying the speech is coming later in the day, not right now. Later in the day, if it is America, it may mean afternoon of America. Afternoon of America might be around our midnight already, around our midnight or something like that. That is afternoon of America. So let us wait. Tonight, they might talk, he might talk. And if he talks and says that we have done something about inflation, but the jobs are too many, we are going to do something in March, even if he mentions only like that, that we are going to do something about inflation again in our policy in the coming month of March. Wow, then there is going to be a problem. Why? Because then people will begin to fear that the market is heading towards a danger. And so the market will go down, maybe tonight, slightly, perhaps badly. Maybe it will drop by 6%, maybe it will drop by 10%, but it will now be buying opportunity. So anyway, for those who have money and they are willing to buy margin call and margin call and margin call and margin call and margin call, just have enough capital for yourself, because you never know if there is going to be tightening, as people are guessing because of the job data. Then maybe the speech will cause you to be among the people for buying opportunity. So if you have money, maybe you can put margin call. Of course, if it says that we don't care now, the jobs are created, but we are not going to do anything. Please, Americans, you have suffered a lot. We are not going to do anything for you. That would be good news. That would be good news. That would be good news, because it means that the market is now not going to suffer. If it says that the job data we have seen, all of you are now fearing that we are going to do something bad. No, we are not going to do anything bad. We are going to allow things to go as it is. You people have suffered enough. We are not going to change anything now. What will happen? People will begin to buy. There will be fear of missing out. Those who have kept their money, because they say that the market is at a standstill, meaning that people have their money in the bank and in the pockets. They will push the money in the market tonight. So tonight is either people will push their money to go so that the standstill stops, or tonight there might be a problem where they say jobs created are too many. We are going to cause a change in the next month, and then there will be a lot of problem. So that is briefly. We may not have considered everything in the discussion here, but at least you can see that there is a possibility that the market might drop bearish, but also there is a possibility that the market may rise bullish. How will the market be bullish? If the jobs created, Mr. Jerome Powell will say, we don't care. The jobs are created, but rest assured, we are not going to do anything. We don't care. Then what do you expect? Bullish market. But if Jerome comes and tells people that the jobs created, for sure, the jobs are too many, we must do something. Inflation is going to eat us. We are going to tighten in our arrangement of the month of March. What will happen? Bad news, bearish. So we are waiting to see. Tonight, watch and see when it is the time for Jerome Powell to speak. That is a bit about fundamental analysis. That is a bit about, about fundamental analysis. You really see, it is a very interesting area of study. If you are an expert in the crypto world, if you are an expert in online trade involving money, whether cryptocurrency or foreign exchange, and you say that you have not heard about fundamental analysis, then you are such an amateur. You are too new. You are not fit even to talk among powerful people. You are too green. If you say you have no idea, you have never heard about fundamental analysis, then you are too new. Can you imagine that in my talking and lessons that I have been teaching? Now you are getting to understand even the meaning of Fed, which is the Federal Reserve. Sometimes they can just write as if it is not even abbreviation, Fed with small letters. And you are even getting to understand that the chairman is Jerome. They say the chairman is Jerome. Jerome who? Jerome Powell. And when Jerome Powell is preparing his speech to give a speech, what happens? Each time it is programmed that he is going to give a speech, this chairman, after discussing, and it is known that today he is going to give a speech. Before he gives his speech, what have you noticed? The market will be on a standstill. The market will not move. Everybody will keep the money. They will not push their money anywhere to go for trade. Everybody, on hearing that Jerome Powell is preparing a speech, tonight he is speaking, or this evening he is speaking, whenever he has not yet spoken to disclose what is going to happen, the market will always be at a standstill, meaning prices will not climb at all, almost. Prices will not fall. The market will just be like this. The market will just be like this at a standstill. So if you wanted your profit here,
the market fails to reach your profit. If you wanted your margin call to buy the margin call here, the market will refuse to go to your buying of margin call. You're waiting to buy margin call the whole day. The market is not able to come to the place of your margin call. You're waiting for your profit the whole day. The market is not able to go to the level of your 1.1% profit or 1.3% profit. Or somebody could have told you, that now, this is the coin for today. Buy this coin, put 3%. Now you put 3% and you are thinking that you are waiting for one shot. The market will come here, 3% will come here. You wait and wait and wait and wait and wait. The market will never come to the 3%. Why? Because the whole world is waiting for Jerome Powell. And as they are waiting, the market has to remain without moving. The market will be at standstill. The market will not go anywhere. The market will not go to your take profit level. It will not reach there. The market will not go down to the area where you are to buy margin call number 1, 2, 3. It may buy only one margin call and then it stops without even selling that one margin call. The whole 4 hours, 7 hours, 11 hours, 17 hours, that one margin call is bought. It is not selling. Then you wonder, what is going on? What is going on is because you have not taken your time to get fundamental analysis. That is the idea. Now, yesterday we talked, and as we talk, sometimes we tell you that what we are teaching to those who are acquainted with mathematics, it could be easy, but for those who fear mathematics, they want to repeat the class. They want to repeat the class. Now, I try to prepare something here, and I'm going to share with you in the WhatsApp again, like a kind of follow-up of what we did yesterday. Maybe just to remind ourselves, or even better still, to help those who missed out. What did we say yesterday? We said that if you are to trade and to trade very well, you don't just trade anyhow. You have to put up a good plan for yourself. You cannot just trade anyhow. You have to put up a good plan for yourself, and then you trade with a good plan. You want to go? Okay. Yes. So in your planning, we have said, 1, consider the kind of coins that you will be trading. Then we said 2, also, you should know what is your capital that you want to use. Is there a certain level of capital that you should prepare so that in your trade, you know, I will be using this as my capital. And so that is the kind of capital you have got to prepare and you are supposed to have around you. Then, of course, we have said that talking about the coins, your upline might help you. The upline might help you that this is the coin you have to buy. This is the coin you have to choose, and so on. But then sometimes, as you go along, you begin also to get a little bit concerned, and you will understand the logic behind the coins we have chosen
that you should trade, and that would be good. But what about when it comes to the capital? This is a question that as senior members and senior people who are teaching, we normally have to answer. Someone comes and says, I want to trade. How much do I need? Of course, we need just as much money as possible. There is no limit, except that we can only give suggestion based on what people will be in a position to afford. Now, let me just ask to mute for some 2-3 minutes. I want to relocate and get out of office so that I can give opportunity to move outside so that I can give my lecture from outside, because I feel the people should be able to close the office now. So give me just some 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes so that I can relocate outside briefly. Thank you. Okay. Available. So what I was trying to say is that yesterday we talked about handling the component of our capital. You have got to plan your trade, and you have got to plan your trade in such a way that you are clear with what level of capital you will want to use, where that this is the capital I want to use. So let me go ahead and I proceed to share the screen again. Let me close now the Wi-Fi, and I will be using the data. So yesterday, we talked about that. We said, plan your business. If you're planning your business, consider the coins that you will be trading. Consider the capital that you will be using. If your capital is USDT, we have shown you how to make use of your USDT. If your capital is
Bitcoin, yesterday, we were showing you how to plan. And then we said that even at a later moment, we will probably also help you to understand if your capital is in the form of Ethereum. This simply means that in your wallet of Binance, you can decide either to have USDT and then you trade with USDT as your capital, or you can have Bitcoin. And the third alternative is you can have Ethereum. Yesterday, I thought I have tried to prepare some very good reading material that I might share with you on the platform to help understand and to get to begin mastering the things that we talked about yesterday. So the first part is here, and you are going to see the heading very clearly. If you're doing what? If you're planning the margin calls and you are planning your margin calls that you are going to buy. Margin call, for those who are new, margin call means additional buying because the market price of the coin you have selected is moving down. The additional buying you are going to make, the additional buying you are going to make, the additional buying, how many of them adding to the first amount you are going to use for buying to test the market. The additional are the other ones. The other ones, apart from the first you are going to make. The first is obvious. So the margin calls are determined in certain quantities of BTC if you are going to use BTC as your trading pair. First and foremost, as you are aware, and as we also showed you yesterday, that the best if you want to trade is to use 0.0002 of Bitcoin as the quantity. For the first time, you are testing the market. So you start with 0.0002 BTC to test the market so that you can tell whether the market is going to go up or the market is going to move down. When you have finished putting that one to test, which is putting that amount only once to see how the market is moving, the rest now is to plan about the margin calls. And I've already explained. For those who are new, the margin call is the additional buying because the price of the currency is going down. So you look at now the margin calls to be bought, so that we suggest the quantity that you need for BTC. So here we started with that first buy-in amount is needed, and you need it only once. But then now when you come to the margin calls, we have said that the first of the margin call is to be bought 1.1 times. The second is to be bought 1.2. The third is to be bought 1.3. The fourth is to be bought 1.4. If you add these ones alone, then you will get mathematically that 1.1 plus 1.2 plus 1.3 plus 1.4. It means that these ones alone will amount to 5. So it is 5 times. But you don't just need 5 times. You also need to understand that after all, you started first with the first buy-in amount. So the 5 for the 4 margin call plus the 1 time for the first buy-in amount, it will make it that you should prepare the 0.02. You should prepare it available for use up to 6 times. The 0.002, which is the value of the first buy-in amount, you should prepare it in such a way that it take you 6 times. That means that you have gone up to where? It means that you have gone up to the 4th margin call. Okay, so up to the 4th margin call, you will need something like this. You will need 6 times of this 0.0002, and if you put it in the calculator, that's 6 times 0.0002, then the answer is 0.0012. 6 times 0.0002, if you multiply, you will get mathematics. The answer is 0.0012. That is the quantity of Bitcoin. To help you do what? To help you start your trade and move up to the 4th margin call. The quantity of Bitcoin is here. The quantity of Bitcoin is there. And then, of course, we have said, what does that mean? What does that tell us? It tells us that to add 4 margin calls after making the first buy-in amount, you should plan to have at least 0.0012 BTC in your Binance Spot wallet. So if you have 0.0012 in your Binance Spot wallet and it is in BTC, it means you are a trader able to go up to 4 margin calls. I think I talked about this yesterday, but today I have prepared something that I am at the end of the lesson going to share on the platform so that you can have something more permanent. What if you want to go beyond 4 margin calls? If you want to go beyond 4 margin calls, because it is not enough to trade only 4 margin calls. Sometimes we trade many more margin calls, maybe even 20, 15, or 4, or 6, and so on. So for the rest of the margin calls, starting from the 5th call onwards, you just need 1 time for each of them. So margin call number 5, you need 1 time. Margin call number 6, you need 1 time. Number 7, 1 time. Number 8, 1 time. Number 9, there is nothing 1 point and so on, unless you want to be sophisticated and you want to take that method and so on. But from margin call number 5, we suggest that you don't waste much money. You just use 1 time, 1 time, 1 time, 1 time from number 5. From number 1, 2, 3, 4 is where we said up there that you can keep on varying. For number 1, 2, 3, 4, you can keep on varying. But from number 5 onwards, you just have to use 1 time, 1 time, 1 time. So the additional margin calls will be requiring only the pure 0.002 BTC for each, because it is just 1 time. 1 time of what? 1 time of the first buy-in amount, which is 1 time of 0.002 BTC for each. 1 time of 0.002 BTC for each. So to make it even a little bit easier, I have decided that I am going to give maybe 2 examples. Example number 1 is, suppose you are interested in going until 8 margin calls. Suppose you are interested in going until you buy 8 margin calls. So how are you going to plan? Yes, this is the plan. This is the plan if you want 8. We have already said that the 4 margin calls, if you remember from up there, we have already said that the 4 margin calls plus the first buy-in, because if you want 4 margin call, you will have started with first buy-in and then the first 4 margin call. We have already done that mathematics. We have said it will require 0.0012. So if you want to continue up to 8, the next margin call is margin call number 5. You need 0.0002. The next one is number 7. You need 0.0002. The next one is number 6, number 8, number 7, and then number 8. So it means that for numbers 5, 6, 7, 8, you need the first buy-in amount to be used only once. So if you add it in mathematics, if you add the whole of that using your calculator in mathematics, then it means that by the time you are coming until 8 margin calls, the total volume of BTC that you will need, if you add with the calculator very, very well, will be 0.0024. That is the total quantity of BTC that you need. And if this is what you need, what does that tell us? Again, what does this tell us? It tells us that to have 8 margin calls after making the first buy-in amount, you should plan to have at least 0.0024 BTC in your Binance wallet. Your Binance spot wallet should have 0.0024, which is the quantity of BTC that you need. That is the first example to show you how to plan. If you need, for example, 8 margin calls. Well, some people will not necessarily just need 8 only. Suppose you are interested in 15. Another example is available. At least 2 examples are good. The second example is, suppose you are interested in up to 15 margin calls. Well, we start from what you know. What do you know? You need the first buy in amount, which is to test the market. And then we have said that you will also have 4 beginning additional buying, 4 margin calls. We have already explained that the first buy together with the first 4 margin calls, the total will have already taken you up to 0.0012. That one we have repeated starting from yesterday, and we are repeating for today. If you want to go to 15 margin calls, now, after that beginning place where you have already reached 4 margin calls, now you will have to add for margin call number 5, you have to add 0.002. Number 7, the same. Number 8, the same. Number 9, the same. Number 10, the same. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Each one, we have said, should be bought only one time, meaning that you will only need the 0.002, 0.002, 0.002. It is not sophisticated. From margin call number 5 onwards, we suggest that you use 0.0002 unless in your own special case you have become an expert and you understand what you are doing, then you can deviate. If not, you have to use the 0.0002 as we have suggested. If you add all those to the place where you had reached with the 4 margin calls, then what does it show? It will tell you that the total you are required to have for you to buy and reach 15 margin calls, it should be that the Bitcoin you have is 0.0034, 0.0034, which means that to have 15 margin calls after making the first buy-in amount, you should plan to have at least 0.0034 BTC. Where should you have it? In Royal Q? Of course not. Of course not. Not in Royal Q. It should be in your Binance Spot wallet. So pick whatever money you have, buy at least 0.0034 BTC. If you know you want 15 margin calls and you are to trade with Bitcoin, pick whatever money you have. Someone is going to ask me, this is for how many dollars? Someone is going to ask me, this is for how many dollars? What would be your answer if someone is to ask you that the 0.0034, that is how many dollars? Suppose I was also to ask you instead before you have asked me. If you are planning that you are going to trade and you are going to trade so that you buy up to the level of 15 margin calls, and you have now understood that the quantity of Bitcoin that is required of you and that you should have in your spot wallet should be 0.0034. So if I have to ask you before you have even asked me, to trade 15 margin calls, how many dollars do you need then? Can someone answer? Can someone try to answer? If you want to trade and the quantity of Bitcoin you need for $15 is 0.0034. So can someone tell me how many dollars are those? Is it $200? Is it $300? Is it $400? Is it $500? Who can answer that question before you can even ask me that question? Now I am already asking you. Can some volunteer answer that question? Let me see. Maybe someone has answered in the chat or probably not even there. Okay, not yet there. So someone can actually unmute and answer if you have understood, or even if you have not understood. If you have already known today that you need 0.0034 of BTC, you need it in your spot wallet. If you have it in your spot wallet in Binance, you are able to trade and you are able to buy up to the total of 15 margin calls. So this means that you should trade with how many dollars? Who is able to answer this question? You can try, just try. You may be wrong, but it is a learning place. Well, if you are fearing, I am not going to answer either. Of course, I'm going to answer. Don't worry. Don't worry. I am going to answer. Now, let me put it in the calculator. We have said that you need 0.0034. If you are trading with what? If you are trading with Bitcoin. And if your intention is to do what? If your intention is to buy $15. Now, how many dollars are these? This is the quantity of Bitcoin. The dollar amount is not clear. The dollar amount is not clear. You will depend on the price of dollar at a specific time. It means that if in that morning, the dollar price of Bitcoin is this. This is what you will use for multiplying with this dollar price to understand how many dollars you need. That would be your luck, because at that moment, the Bitcoin price is the Bitcoin price is 22,300. What if on that day you are unfortunate? The price of Bitcoin instead is 25,800. It means that you are very unfortunate because you are going to buy Bitcoin, but you have landed at a time when the price of Bitcoin is high. You are going to use that amount to multiply with this price of Bitcoin to understand how many dollars. And you are going to find that because you are buying Bitcoin and the day Bitcoin is available for you, the price is a little bit bigger, the dollar price will be higher. For example, let us just try that. Suppose you have landed very well. The dollar price at that specific moment when you are buying when the dollar price is 22,300. It means that you are the lucky son of your parents. You are going to trade 15 margin calls very, very comfortably, and it is very properly planned when you have spent only $75, $75.82. You are very, very lucky. You can see, I've ever told you that trading with Bitcoin is a lot cheaper. You will be trading your 15 margin calls when you have actually decided to use only $75.82 because you are lucky you got when the price of Bitcoin is low. $75.82 can trade 15 margin calls very comfortably according to this plan. On the other hand, suppose that you were not lucky. You came at a time when you wanted to buy Bitcoin, probably Bitcoin price had gone high. It was, say, 24,800. Let us even assume that you were very unlucky. You were very unlucky. The price of Bitcoin was up to 25,800. What does that mean? It means all the same, you have to buy. There is no alternative. All the same, you have to buy. There is no alternative. It is like the seeds you want to do for your investment, the seeds you want to do for your farming, for your agriculture. During the time you are buying seeds, the seed prices can be very high. What to do? You have to buy because you want to cultivate, so you buy. In that special case, you will see that the amount of money you need to use for buying your 15 margin calls, you have to plan so that you should have $87.72. You really see, in the previous case, it was only 75.82, I think. So the price is not fixed when it comes to trading with Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is not a stable currency, because the price of Bitcoin can vary depending on the moment you are buying. You cannot be so sure. Just have your money and buy whatever quantity you have, because the price keeps fluctuating. But at least you know how to plan. Basically, when you have already bought, then you can now plan. You can now plan. You can now plan. But at least you now understand that it is not necessarily a fixed amount when it comes to trading with Bitcoin. You start your capital based on the price of Bitcoin at a specific moment. If you want to buy a certain quantity, it all depends on what price it is at the market. But what is important and that you should actually know is how to calculate the quantity that you need. The market price will help you now to find out how many dollars to spend. But at least you have seen that even if the dollar price of Bitcoin is up to 25,800, you are still going to trade with less than $90. Very comfortably trading your Bitcoin and buying as many as 15 margin calls. This is like a miracle. The power of trading with Bitcoin is clear. For me, I am enjoying trade with Bitcoin, and I am not about to stop trading with Bitcoin. At least I have tried to labor a little bit to explain exactly what we did yesterday, but I have tried really to plan and plan and plan. And I'm going to paste all these in their correct order so that you can be able to have it on the platform. At the moment, I have planned it elsewhere, but in the next few minutes after the end of our training, it will be available on the platform so that you can benefit. That is the message that I have for you today. Otherwise, unless there is some kind of question that we have got to look at, I would consider that this is the place that I would want to stop at. Yes, somebody has calculated. Wonderful. That is okay. Depending on the price of Bitcoin, you will be able to trade very, very well. You have said today, if you see Bitcoin is cheap, don't hesitate to buy for yourself Bitcoin. If you go to Binance and you find that the price of Bitcoin is cheap in Binance, please take the advantage and try to buy for yourself some stock of Bitcoin. Look, at this specific moment, the price of Bitcoin is 22,000. 22,913.74. It was 913, it is now 914, it is now 913, it is now 916, it is now 917, it is now 915. You can see this is what I was talking about. That at any moment, it is now 911. So the person who is going to buy at 911 is going to get better than the person who is buying at 915. 911 is there, 911 is there. 911 is there, 910 even is there, 910 is there, 911, 913, 914. The price will keep changing anytime. So just go and buy. What is important is not today, it is below 23,000. Today, it is below 23,000. I think I've talked a lot, but it is because of the feeling that you should understand. Because of the feeling that you should understand. And I am going to paste this one on the platform. You can see that because of various reasons, the people who have benefited from this training are even only 456, only 456. Some of the people were here yesterday, and this is like the second opportunity, and they are even going to have it in the form that is in the written form. There is also probably going to be the complement of what you saw yesterday, which was a recording. So you will have the recording of yesterday, you will have the written of yesterday, and of course, the real teaching I have taught in the oral form. All these are intended to empower you so that you are either able to understand for yourself, or you can even go ahead and explain to the friends who will join in your team, in your network. Allow me to stop here, ladies and gentlemen, and we see what next. At the moment, I can turn over the responsibility of taking care of the room to our colleague and senior mentor, Mr. Jean-Paul Ramogema. Thank you very much.
Wonderful.
Over to you.
Thank you so much. Yes, thank you so much, our lecturer. Yes, we learn all purposely to benefit ourselves and to help our team members to gain more knowledge so that they can use it for their trades, for their benefit. And of course, the information they get is a package that is very powerful for their future. So I thank you so much. I think we can keep it here, and we meet again tomorrow as we are preparing, of course, to have another shift soon that will be also following the lectures. Thank you so much, our senior lecturer, and I thank all members who have been with us. Let us keep learning, let us keep grasping this concept. Most importantly, we put it into practice and we build our success towards our goal. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Let's call it a day and we meet again tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye. Thank you.